हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आई वेलकम यू ऑल इन लाइफ इंश्योरेंस मास्टर क्लास। तो अगर आप जानना चाहते हैं लाइफ इंश्योरेंस क्या है, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस एंड टर्म इंश्योरेंस में क्या डिफरेंस होता है, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लेते हुए हमें किन किन बातों पे ध्यान रखना चाहिए, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस में क्या मिथ्स एंड मिसकंसेप्शंस हैं, क्या वो सही हैं या गलत हैं, हम इन आज सारी बातों पे इंटरेस्टिंग एंड ईजी वे में डिस्कस करेंगे। अगर आप जानना चाहते हैं तो स्टे ट्यून टिल एंड। हम आज की इस वीडियो की शुरुआत एक शॉर्ट वीडियो से करेंगे जिसमें इंटेंशनली कुछ साउंड तो नहीं है बट इसमें मैसेज लाउड है। ये एक आम परिवार की कहानी है जिसमें कुछ बड़े लोग हैं एंड कुछ बच्चे बच्चे छोटे बच्चे हैं। छोटे बच्चे जो अपने माँ बाप से बहुत प्यार लेते हैं एंड बड़े लोग भी ये चाहते हैं कि उनको उनकी वो सारी ज़रूरतें पूरी करें। एंड वो ज़रूरतें छोटे होते तो टॉयज़ एंड गेम्स के लिए लिमिटेड होती हैं, बट इवेंचुअली वो बड़े होकर सुपर हीरोज़ एंड उसके बाद वो एजुकेशन एंड करियर पे ट्रांसफॉर्म कर जाती हैं। एंड इवेंचुअली ये ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन इतनी जल्दी होता है दैट पेरेंट्स डिडंट इवन रियलाइज, एंड उनके करियर्स एंड उनकी एजुकेशन नीड्स इतनी ज़्यादा रिग्रेस हो जाती हैं तो पेरेंट्स को इवेंचुअली प्लान आउट करना पड़ता है। समटाइम्स वो प्लानिंग तो अगर सही तरह चलती रहे तो कोई इशू नहीं है, बट अदरवाइज बच्चों का करियर एंड उनकी एजुकेशन एकदम साइड लाइन हो जाती है एंड इट गोज फॉर अ टॉस। एंड अगर उसमें कुछ मिसहैप हो जाए देन इवेंचुअली सब कुछ ही रिव्यू हो जाता है बच्चों के करियर के परस्पेक्टिव से। इन दैट केस लाइफ इंश्योरेंस इज अ पॉलिसी जो आपको उसमें प्रोटेक्ट कर सकती है। तो लाइफ इंश्योरेंस के बारे में हम आज जानेंगे। सो नाउ व्हाट इज लाइफ इंश्योरेंस? लाइफ इंश्योरेंस इज बेसिकली अ पॉलिसी जो एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है पॉलिसी होल्डर एंड पॉलिसी कंपनी के बीच में। पॉलिसी कंपनी ये इंश्योर करती है अगर पॉलिसी होल्डर को कुछ हो जाता है देन दे विल back up the policyholder and provide benefits to the beneficiaries. और it's not a new concept, it's a very old concept. In ancient times, Greeks and कई philosophers के extracts मिले हैं जहाँ उन्होंने लिखा हुआ है कि पहले ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल इकट्ठे होते थे, देन दे बैक अप ईच अदर फॉर देयर लास्ट राइट्स और उनकी फैमिली को जो सपोर्ट देनी है। एंड इवेंचुअली आज के टाइम में इट गॉट फॉर्मल इन वे ऑफ लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी। इट प्रोवाइड्स अ क्रूशियल सेफ्टी नेट which provides a safety to your family members. So what are the types of life insurance? सबसे common type है term life insurance. In this policy holder gets a fixed term protection. वो in that period policy holder is supposed to pay all his premiums and in return policy holder को protection मिलती रहती है। अगर कुछ हो जाता है तो payout मिल जाता है, right? And अगर policy holder चाहता है that he wanted to have a complete whole life insurance, then there is a policy called whole life insurance, and it offers a coverage for entire life. It has some cash value as well, which grows over time, and the premium remains fixed throughout the life. Then अगर policyholder wants some flexibility, then there is also a advanced plan which is called the universal life. The coverage is for the entire life, but the premiums for this policy can vary at the later stage of the policy. If you want to grow your premiums along with the policy period, then the sum assured will also get improved. But if you want to decrease it, तो आपकी पॉलिसी जो आपने शुरू में sum assured डिफाइन किया हुआ है उसी पे फिक्स रहेगी। And finally, we have a variable life insurance. इसमें एक investment component होता है, based on that investment component return, your sum assured varies. It could increase or it could decrease. So for example, if you have gone for a policy for 30 years, आपका sum assured मान लो 7 or 8 CR आया है, but eventually if something happens at the early stage, then in that case आपका जो sum assured होगा 1 or 2 CR के बीच में ही रह जाएगा। मतलब this is a significant difference then you can observe with this variable life policy. So in simplistic term, सबसे plain insurance, term insurance is the most preferred policy because इसमें आपको पता है कि आप कितना रिस्क कवर कर रहे हैं, कितनी कवरेज आपको मिल रही है, and it is also the cheapest of all of the three plans. Now we will discuss how insurance works. So for getting a life insurance, it's as equivalent as you are going for a health checkup, right? So you will approach the company, for example Max Life or Bajaj Finserv. They will evaluate you based on your health parameters, lifestyle, age, and provide your dedicated policy which is personalized as per your needs. And once that policy is defined, उसमें important terms and clauses written होते हैं that you have to understand, and if you go with those plan that you also get a 30 days money back policy. If you go with that plan, then you also get a 30 days grace period in which you can read the policy documents correctly, and if you are not satisfied with the policy terms and condition, then you can submit on a no question asked basis. You can surrender your policy. That's an added advantage that IRDA has provided to all the policy holders. अगर आप किसी भी पॉलिसी को इनिशियली 30 डेज में बंद कर दोगे then there is no issue. Moreover, टर्म इंश्योरेंस में तो आप जितनी टर्म के लिए पे करना चाहते हो आप पे करते रहो, अदरवाइज यू कैन स्टॉप पेइंग एंड आपकी पॉलिसी वहीं पे लैप्स कर जाएगी। Now, as we have discussed कि आपकी personalized policy होती है, then there are some important policy terms that you need to understand. The first one is the life cover. Life cover is actually the most important one. It provides you the total sum assured which is driven by your policy. ये वो अमाउंट है जो आपकी पॉलिसी के मैच्योर होने पे या उसकी एप्लीकेबिलिटी होने पे आपके बेनिफिशरीज को मिलेगा। एंड नॉर्मली द गोल्डन रूल इज इट शुड बी एटलीस्ट 15 to 20 times ऑफ योर एनुअल सैलरी। एंड लाइफ इंश्योरेंस नीड्स वेरी अकॉर्डिंग टू द लाइफ स्टेजेस। अगर आप अर्ली स्टेज में हैं तो आपकी लाइफ इंश्योरेंस नीड्स ज़्यादा हाई हैं, अगर आप लेट स्टेज में हैं तो आपकी फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने अपनी फैमिली सब सेटल कर ली, आपके किड्स वेल एजुकेटेड एंड दे आर ऑल्सो अर्निंग, दैट एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम योर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कवरेज कैन डिक्रीज. द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज ऑलवेज गो फॉर पॉलिसीज जहाँ पे सेटलमेंट रेशियो हाई होता है. अ लोअर लाइफ कवर फ्रॉम अ पॉलिसी विच हैज अ हाई सेटलमेंट स्कोर इज मोर प्रेफर्ड ओवर अ पॉलिसी जहाँ पे सेटलमेंट स्कोर लो है एंड लाइफ कवर हाई है. एंड देन वी हैव द कवरेज एज which actually gives कि आपकी पॉलिसी आपको कब तक इंश्योरेंस दे रही है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ द पॉलिसी एज इज डिफाइंड एज 58, then up to 58 years आपको कुछ हो जाता है, then your beneficiaries are going to get the payment from the life insurance company. And then we have the payment types. The first and the common payment time is the regular one, in which you pay for the entire life period of the policy. Then you can go for a limited pay, where you can decide that I want to pay for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, depending upon your preference. Or nowadays we also have plans where you can only pay a single premium, which is called a single pay premium, and your policy for the entire duration, average age, you don't have to pay anything else. But it is very, the first premium is quite high. It's almost 2 or 3 lakh for a normal policies. And then you can decide if you're going for a limited pay or a regular policy. Then you can decide कि आपको किस frequency में pay out करना है, whether you want to go for monthly premium or quarterly or yearly. And then nowadays there are some sophisticated plans. सबसे common plan तो term insurance है, जिसमें आपको एक fixed term के लिए coverage मिलता है. अगर कुछ होता है then you get the payout. If nothing happens to you, then you don't get the payout. But nowadays, as I mentioned, return of premium and zero cost are more sophisticated plans. In zero cost policy, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी आपको एक कवरेज ड्यूरेशन बताती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल फॉर नेक्स्ट 30 years यू आर गेटिंग द कवरेज, बट एट द एंड ऑफ 25 years यू गेट अ 1 year पीरियड वेयर यू कैन सबमिट योर पॉलिसी, वेयर यू कैन सरेंडर योर पॉलिसी टू द लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कंपनी. अगर सरेंडर करते हो तो वट एवर प्रीमियम यू हैव पेड टू द कंपनी, दोज गेट रिम्बर्स्ड बैक टू यू एंड योर पॉलिसी लैप्सेस एट दैट पॉइंट. रिटर्न ऑफ प्रीमियम में ऐसा कोई टाइम पीरियड नहीं होता. At the end of your policy, if it doesn't get matured, then you get the entire premium back from the company. But the main thing that you have to remember is that the time value of the money that you're paying today is much greater than the time value of the money that you're getting at the maturity. So always try to go for a normal term insurance, because इसमें आप उन पॉलिसी में आपको प्रीमियम तो वापस मिल रहा है, बट उनमें उसकी टाइम वैल्यू बहुत कम है, एंड इवेंचुअली यू एंड अप पेइंग अ लॉट हायर अमाउंट टू द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी. इससे बेटर आप एक इंडेक्स फंड में अपनी इंक्रीमेंटल इन्वेस्टमेंट कर देते, तो उस इंक्रीमेंटल इन्वेस्टमेंट से आपका जो पे आउट था वैसे ही बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाना था. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू आर गेटिंग 2 lakh from the policy company, right? And if you have invested 2 lakhs in a SIP, in an index fund, then your amount will be much higher that you will get, because उसमें आपको rate of return का benefit मिलता है. Then we are now going to discuss the additional riders. These are the extra sauce that can add taste to your policy. First one is the accidental benefit rider. इसमें अगर आपकी और आप जिसने भी पॉलिसी ली हुई है, अगर उसको कुछ एक्सीडेंटली अगर इंजरी हो जाती है या उसकी डेथ हो जाती है, देन द पॉलिसी बेनिफिशियरीज गेट एक्स्ट्रा पेमेंट फ्रॉम द पॉलिसी कंपनी. देन वी हैव अ क्रिटिकल इलनेस राइडर. इसमें अगर पॉलिसी होल्डर को कुछ क्रिटिकल इलनेस डायग्नोज होती है ड्यूरिंग इस पॉलिसी, देन इंस्टेड ऑफ वेटिंग टिल द मेच्योरिटी ऑफ द पॉलिसी कंपनी आपको पहले ही पे आउट दे देती है, जिससे आप अपने इलाज में इसको स्पेंड कर सकते हो. एंड समटाइम्स इट इज ऑब्जर्व्ड कि अगर अच्छा इलाज मिल जाता है तो पॉलिसी होल्डर विल रिकवर एज वेल, राइट? इट्स अ गुड पॉलिसी, बिकॉज अदरवाइज इन नॉर्मल टर्म इंश्योरेंस आपको तभी पे आउट मिलता है जब आपको आपकी लाइफ खत्म हो जाती है, बट इसमें आपको पहले ही पे आउट मिल जाता है अगर कुछ क्रिटिकली आप कोई इशू डायग्नोज हो जाता है. नाउ नेक्स्ट वी हैव द वेवर ऑफ द प्रीमियम. इसमें आपकी फ्यूचर प्रीमियम्स वेव ऑफ हो जाते हैं इन केस यू गेट डिसेबल्ड और देयर इज सम लॉस ऑफ इनकम सोर्स, देन यू हैव टू सबमिट द डॉक्यूमेंट्स एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट यू गेट योर वेवर्स फ्रॉम द फ्यूचर प्रीमियम्स. And next we have the conversion rider. As the name says, policyholder gets the option to convert the policy from a term insurance into a whole life or a permanent policy. Then we have a regular income rider. In this, the policy beneficiaries get a regular payout instead of a lump sum from the policy company, which will kind of replace the monthly salary that the policyholder was getting from his company. So it provides a more security, so that even a novice family who is not much vested into the stock market can still keep on getting the money and can do their day-to-day work, day-to-day activities. Now we will be discussing some important policy terms. सबसे पहला है जो हमें अंडरस्टैंड contestability clause, which says कि अगर in case policy holder अगर कुछ misstatements देता है about himself or his family, then there is a certain period. अगर वो period क्रॉस हो जाता है then those misstatements become invalid. Because earlier क्या होता था, पहले policy companies क्या करती थी, वो सारी misstatement के बेसिस पे आप policy holder का मेच्योरिटी पे उसको इशू क्रिएट करती थी और पे आउट में दिक्कत करती थी. देन IRD रियलाइजेस कि दिस इज रॉन्ग, देन दिस क्लॉज केम इनटू पिक्चर. दिस क्लॉज इंश्योर्स अगर पहले 3 साल या 4 साल अगर पॉलिसी होल्डर प्रीमियम रेगुलर पे करता है एंड कुछ उसने मिस स्टेटमेंट अनइंटेंशनली दिया है, देन दोज अनइंटेंशनल स्टेटमेंट्स बिकम इनवैलिड, एंड एज अ रिजल्ट पॉलिसी होल्डर के बेनिफिशियरी को पे आउट में कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी. देन वी हैव अ सुसाइड क्लॉज. इट स्टेट्स कि अगर पॉलिसी होल्डर सुसाइड कर लेता है, देन व्हाट इज द अमाउंट दैट द policy beneficiaries will get and what are the conditions. In normal term insurance policy, for first year suicide cover नहीं होता and eventually from second years suicide cover होता है. This is done intentionally so that policy holder intentionally suicide ना करे by buying a policy and then commits to suicide so that he gets amount, his family gets amount. So just to avoid that, this important clause is added. Then we have a grace period coverage. इसमें आपको एक grace period मिल जाता है, आपकी term coverage में कोई impact नहीं आता अगर in case you don't pay your premium on time, because if you pay within your grace period, then you get the benefit of losing any coverage on your policy. And then we have the exclusion clause, which states in which conditions your policy will don't pay anything to your beneficiaries. These are the important terms and conditions that you must read so that you are aware about those conditions. Now we are moving towards the final sections of the presentation where we will be discussing how to make a claim. According to my understanding and my knowledge, this should be as simple as ordering a coffee, because at that point we need to realize कि जब policy holder को claim करना पड़ता है, जब policy holder के beneficiary को claim करना पड़ता है, policy holder is no longer there in most of the cases until unless it's a critical illness rider. And अगर उस टाइम पे हम उसकी फैमिली को टीडियस प्रोसेस से गो थ्रू करवाएंगे, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम. सो नाउ IRDA ensures that overall settlement time is covered within a defined SLA. पॉलिसी होल्डर के बेनिफिशरीज को डॉक्यूमेंट सबमिट करने पड़ते हैं, इंटीमेट करना पड़ता है, एंड देन इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज गो फॉर द ड्यू डिलिजेंस, एंड इफ एवरीथिंग गोज वेल देन द क्लेम सेटलमेंट हैपेंस विद इन 2 weeks. Now we are going to cover a most exciting part, where we will be actually debusting some of the myths and the misconceptions. The first misconception is premium is very high or expensive. Life insurance premium is quite expensive. This is no longer a valid case, because if you go for a term insurance at a right point in your life, then the monthly equated installment that you have to pay, it's very less. It's less than even the pizza party that you go for every month. Young and healthy people don't need it. I think this is also a flawed myth, because there are many cases where you don't know your last time. There are untimely deaths. In those cases, if you have to cover yourself, then this is the best thing that you can do. And moreover, if you are young and healthy, then your premium will be quite less. So just take advantage of that. The breadwinner of the family needs a life insurance and others don't. I think I don't buy this argument, because जो other members होते हैं, for example house ladies or housewives, they also contribute significantly to your family. In case अगर उनको कुछ हो जाता है, then there will be a huge blow to your family. And अगर उनको support, उन activities को support करने के लिए आपको कहीं से external help लेनी पड़ती है, then that will also cause significant stress on the finances. So better go for those coverage as well. Dependents don't need it. I think we have already discussed, because dependents also contribute significantly to your family. So don't take their assistance for granted. They are also contributing significantly, and as a family, if you have to ensure that all your risk is covered, just go for the coverage for your dependents as well. Now there are many policies which provide a 50% coverage for dependents at a very nominal rate if you're going for a life insurance policy. I think this is an important misconception, that the coverage from work is sufficient, because we need to understand that coverage from work is only available if you're working. As soon as you quit your job, then your coverage stops, which is also a big problem, because as soon as you go out from your work, you're not getting the coverage. And if you go for external term insurance at that point, you will not get the term insurance, because getting employed and having a good salary is a precursor need for buying a term insurance, right? And even if you get some employment, then your premium will be very high, because at that point your age factor will be a more dominant factor. Now we have I think this is almost resolved now. Nowadays the process is quite simple. Life insurance policy can be obtained in less than a week, and the process is no longer complicated and long. You can just apply for a policy, and your medical test gets done at home only, so you don't need to worry about it, and all the backend work is completed by the policy company in 1 week or even less than that. The last myth is that if we have enough saving that we don't life insurance. I think just don't overthink about your saving, because if something happens to you, most of the savings get depleted in less than 2 or 3 years, and you have to think beyond that, what will happen to your family after that, because life insurance amount is quite high, and if you can get benefit of that, and your saving will provide an extra cushion to your family, right? Now you have spent a significant time on this. So what are the key takeaways that we need to remember while buying a life insurance? The first thing is that life insurance is a critical component in your financial safety net. It not only provides a peace of mind to you, but also provide a financial security to your family, because if you are covered financially, then you can think about all the other stuff, right? अगर आपने initial part ही cover नहीं किया हुआ, then whenever you go for any other financial decision, you will be worried about it. एक बारी initial this first steps get done, then you get a lot of other options where you can save and invest. Life insurance, you need to discuss it with your family as well as with your dependents, because इसका कवरेज एक बहुत स्पेसिफिक एंड पर्सनलाइज होता है, एंड मोर ओवर जो आपको एडिशनल राइडर्स चाहिए, what all policy terms and conditions that they whatever term and condition that your family should be aware of, आपको बताने पड़ेंगे, and what are the type of policy, whether you want to go for a zero cost, whether you want to go for a regular payout. So there are numerous factors that you need to be worried and that you need to work out before buying a life insurance, right? And based on that, you can decide your own right coverage and just go for a time and term insurance. And finally, we are going to refer some of the external websites, because as I mentioned that you need to have a proper due diligence before buying a term insurance. So because as you have to consider your individual needs first, and based on that you can only decide like which policy you have to go. And there are other online calculators and professional advices and other portals as well, where you can go, for example Policy Bazaar, Insurance Deco, Ditto, where you can go and serve all the life insurance policies and start comparing those policies. There are numerous factors that can provide added advantage to you or to your family. Just try figuring out those factors and go for a life insurance coverage. Term insurance is the most important and a simplistic one, so just go for that. And if you have any doubts or any queries, just feel free to reach out to me. I am there to provide my help to the best extent possible. Okay, thank you and thanks for your time. Goodbye.